Okay, so I'm going to do this recording because the damages that have been caused towards me in the last 9 years, I didn't cause. Certain people caused them. And I then went to the government, so government departments such as police, um, every aspect of the government department I could. Police customer service, courthouses, and said, look, I'm getting the extreme defamation of character. So, look, back in 2015, I started getting accused of using drugs because I had a brief sexual fling with a complete stranger. And I'm like, but I don't use drugs. I never have. So I'm someone that's barely drunk. So my character of a person has barely drunk alcohol in their life. Besides the occasional glass of wine with dinner or martini, things like that, aperitif, that's it. And years could go by without me having any alcohol at all. It's not for any reason. Never had any drugs or alcohol problem. It's just that I don't drink. I never have. So not even as a teenager, not growing up, never ever been a drinker. I've had a bar at my place, but the Fleming side, see, I'm related to my mum's first husband, Mark Fleming. My mother's second husband is Mark Rackley. The Rackleys are alcoholics, drug users, cannabis smokers, and have mental health issues. This is how I got dragged into this. Now, I'm not going to pay for the mistakes other people have made or lies that they've done towards me. And by the way, there is so many. So people have lied about me in the past, yet this is one of many toxicology reports that I have. The only thing that actually showed up in my toxicology report there was a sleeping pill. That's over. If you actually look at the dates there, you can see the dates from, should say, I've got my glasses on, hang on, so I can read it. And by the way, I've worn glasses, or should I say, I've been prescribed glasses since 1990. The first prescription of glasses I had was done around, I think it was in Gosford in 1990, and they were bifocals. I should have worn them, I didn't. Now I pretty much wear, so I wear one pair of glasses for reading, one for every day, but I don't still. I should be wearing it, but there's plenty of record of that, so I've always worn glasses. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, 2015 to 2018. See, since I put my glasses on, I can see. So 2015 to 2018, all the results. So here's the thing. I'm not backing down. A lot of people said, oh, you got to let go. And I'm like, I'm not letting go of this defamation. No, sorry. You accused me of using drugs or alcohol. So, no, and that's one of many. Let me go into another one. One of many. There's heaps of toxicology reports. Hang on back, so my dog wants me. So there's so many, and they're all negative. So they go over a lengthy period of years when I was getting defamed, and I'm like, but I don't use drugs or alcohol, so this doesn't make any sense. You can see all this. There's no, and this thing. This went on over a period of time. I'm like, okay, well, who's benefiting from these lies about me? So he's the one benefiting. Family spread this. It's like, yeah, but I don't use drugs. I don't know what you've seen and you've misinterpreted. For example, okay, good example of this is when I made an entry for my green card. My dog's right next to me now with his little ball. Yes, I know. He wants me to play with his ball. Here you go. So I've used injectables, but they're not drugs. There's injectables for migraines. There's injectables for all sorts of things. Even when I made an entry into the US back in December 2014, I had a letter from Dr. Jeremy Cumstons from Ageless Clinics, and I had injectables back then. There's injectables for lowering your blood sugar levels. There's injectables for losing weight. There's injectables for a whole range of medical issues, which, again, I look at this and go, so how could you twist it if it was that? Was it that? It's like, because I've never used drugs. So, and how this came about was, and how it sort of stuck was because I started getting affiliated with my mum's second husband's family, which are that type of character of person. So my stepbrother, Daniel Rackley, which the other issues here, pinned that. For 9 years, I kept saying, you've just given me information that relates to my stepbrother and my stepfather. So Mark Jeffrey Rackley and Daniel Rackley. Daniel Rackley is from Mark Rackley's first marriage in South Australia, but he moved to Tamworth and used to affiliate with these deadbeat nurses and crap people at a nursing home in Moombi, like his father did. He affiliated with drug-using people around the New England area, exactly like his father. I'm like, so you described Daniel Rackley to me. And then, so Being that other idiots come back to me and go, oh, he hasn't got a stepbrother. I'm like, yes, I do. Just be like, okay, they're an ex-stepbrother because my mother has divorced his father. But yeah, my mother's second husband, who's this character of a person, all his children are these character of a people. Yeah, Mark's got children from his first marriage. Mark's got children with my mother. So yeah, I do. So this went even into America. And it's where I've had people, I'm sitting back going, but I didn't cause this damage. You can pay me back what you've caused me for 9 years. I didn't sit back and get lied about. I've had people like a hairdresser. Here we go. In late 2013, I'm looking for a new hairdresser to get a haircut and treatment. So I go to La Boutique Salon in Double Bay. The owner's originally from Penrith. She behaves like it too. Belinda Jeffries, who openly tells people everything she does on a Monday. And she's like, oh, she does all this cocaine and cannabis. She's got this drug dealer, this great, fabulous Russian guy from King's Cross, all this shit. It's like, oh, God, here we go. Those types of women. It's like, whatever. I don't participate. I don't even drink alcohol. And I never have. And if people see me smoking a rollie, it's a rollie. It's a rollie tobacco cigarette that I don't smoke regularly because I'm not addicted to nicotine. It's a treat, the same as Arabic tobacco. So an Arabic pipe, the shisha, the agili, hookah, whatever you want to call it. You know, sit with a tea or coffee and have that. There's that. These are not drugs. This is just tobacco. Those things that are in my life that I even had on social media, people twisting like, he's like-minded. I was like, oh, I'm not like-minded to you. I'm someone that, yes, I've got a wine collection in my house, had a bar in my house my entire life. I barely drank alcohol. That's just how we are. I mean, God, my parents had a bar in their house. You can go to my dad's. My dad's got, I went to dad's last year for dinner. And after dinner, we're sitting up to about 2 a.m, Dad and myself, and he's having a chat. And he had 2 brandies. It's the most I've ever seen my father drink. But he does. He will sit there and have a nice brandy. He goes, oh, because he has liqueurs and aperitifs and things. He's not a drinker. But that's Mark Fleming. My dad's a builder, Mark Fleming. My stepfather's a nurse, Mark Rackley. They're 2 different people and 2 different characters of people. So in the last 9 years, I've just had my life damaged. And I've had people that I'm looking at going, no, like Belinda Jeffries, you're a junkie. Whether you like it or not, you can't go your whole week without cannabis, cocaine, or alcohol. So you have drug and alcohol problems. And then you grab hold of people and attach yourself to people, but you're only their hairdresser, I'm your client. And you then want to project your issues. These are your issues. They're your issues and they're related to you, solely to you. But these types of people like to grab hold of little groups of people and project their issues on other people. So Belinda Jeffries is good at that. And her receptionist, or her little lapdog, Anthony Toomer, she always said has these drug and alcohol problems. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Look, I came here, I briefly socialised with you as my hairdresser, nothing more. And I get a haircut and treatment. You never knew me before late 2013. These are your issues. Don't project your issues on other people. And I've met people like this before in my past. And it's common with a certain type of character of a person. For example, Stephanie DeSalis. She's that character of a person. So is her friend Michael Raptis. Like, I've given a very good detail on how I met those people. I met Michael Raptis when I was shopping in Burwood Shopping Centre. We exchanged numbers. Like, seriously, I can give a good timeline of everything. Then when I was moving back so I lived in the city for most of my life, but after Pop died in Concord Hospital back in 2002, Nan asked if I would move to the suburbs. So I was back in the suburbs living late in 2003. I moved back into the city. So I moved, 2004, moved back into the city. So from late 2003 in the suburbs to 2004, then I moved back into the city. And so in 2004, I was taking some belongings from the suburbs, and I was moving into St Leonard's, like just down the road from where Mum's old junior secretary was living, Margie Clay. And she can confirm this. When I was living there in 2004. Anyway, so I was going from this day, oh God, I can tell every little detail, went from St Leonard's to Paddington Town Hall. Back in those days, Paddington Town Hall used to do designer label like warehouse. So you could get like, say a shirt would be like a 90% off, and it's Versace or Gucci. Paddington Town Hall used to do that, or Cavalli. So did Voy. Voy used to be behind Queen Victoria building. Anyway, and then I got a message from this guy who I'd only just met, Miss Michael Raptor, said, I'll meet me for coffee. I'm like, I'm in the area, I'm just down the road. So went to the Californian Cafe for a coffee, like I would always anyway, because I worked in a 24-hour rotating roster in a 24-hour environment. So I used to frequent the 24-hour restaurants and coffee shops, and the Californian Cafe on Oxford Street was one of them. So I actually went for a coffee, and he wasn't someone that I ever affiliated with, and I didn't affiliate with him after that coffee. But whilst I had a coffee with a guy, this lady came, or wouldn't call her a lady, this Stephanie DeSantis character came down, and she knew this Michael Raptis and introduced me to her. That was in late 2004. Now, my partner then, so then I started dating this other guy, John Cabino, who was more me, and he became a long-term partner. He even said to me several times after a few incidences to do with this Stephanie DeSantis that, look, she's stalking you. Like, I can get into details I won't already have in the past, but I've said, what John said, Justin, you can't see her for what she is, but I can. She's bad news, stay away from her. Things like this. So by July 2005, I avoided her. Now, she's a junkie. No, she is. She was back then. I wonder if she's crazy. I kept saying to her, to John, she's a crazy fag hag. And that's all she is. So, sorry. My dog keeps distracting me. Not easily distracted, but he demands my attention. So, yeah. So, Stephanie DeSantis, I used to look at, God, he's still doing it, was this crazy fag hag. Nothing more. And I made that clear, and she's a junkie, but these types of characters of people, they then project the issues. It's like, don't project the issues on me. I mean, I spectate in, I don't participate. It's hard to, in a world, you pass so many different people. It's like, I wouldn't affiliate with you, but, we share space in society, unfortunately. If I had it my way, people that use drugs would be in jail or dead. I've never been any different. My views on people that abuse alcohol is the same. Because I've never abused alcohol. My father's side have never abused alcohol. So my views on people that use drugs have never changed my entire life. They should be dead or in jail. There's no middle ground. I don't have this belief that people deserve a second chance. It's like, well, if you've already gone that path, you're ruined. So you don't belong in society. And I have never ever changed that in my entire life. No one can ever say I've changed that, because I've had that same opinion since I was young. Otherwise, you're going to end up with people like my mother's second husband's family. So my opinion stays the same, and never changed. As for alcohol, like my dad's side of the family are very respectable when it comes to alcohol. They're not big drinkers. We have bars and social and so forth. Like, I've had a bar in my house. It's not there to be drunken all at once type thing. This is for, this is social. This is a once in a while. It's like, having a nice, good, chocolate. You're going to have a good from a chocolatier, or you're going to eat some rubbish crap. And that's where you can look at people that need... See, I look at people that vape, and I'm like, oh, you're a drug user. If you have to vape, then you're a drug user. Because I believe that if you are a quality of person, then you'll be buying a, expensive, beautiful tobacco that you'll be having once in a blue moon. Like, you might sit down and roll a cigarette or have a pipe tobacco or something like this, and it's beautiful, it's aroma, it's an experience. Like sitting down having a beautiful degustation. But if you've got to smoke every day and use cheap shit, it's like you have an issue. And so I view people that vape as people with issues, because it's not doing anything for quality, it's doing it for quantity and continuous use because they've got an addiction. It's the same thing, like people say, oh, I've seen you drink tea. I'm like, of course I've drunk tea. I'll drink tea if I go to someone's place and they go, oh, you want a coffee? I'm like, oh, you've got proper coffee. Oh, you've got instant. No, thank you, I'll have tea. Because it's like, well, I'm not going to drink something that doesn't taste nice. It's why I complain with coffee and I have it out. It's like, I'll go home and make it myself. I drink good coffee because I'm not drinking coffee for caffeine. I'm drinking coffee to have a nice cup of coffee. So I don't know how I got dragged into this. Obviously, there is a lot of scamming organisations. So I did. People all try to drag me into addiction stuff and crap, which I would look at it again. It's like, oh, it's probably my mother. Oh, she's done this in the past. She likes to project her second husband's family onto everybody. Like, again, people that have issues. So I look at my mother, it's like, well, she has issues. She's almost 70, so that's not going to change. She's a deadbeat. So like, she's an absolute fucking deadbeat. You can't look at her as anything other than a deadbeat. She socialised with the Rackleys, her second husband's family. Not just socialised with him. She dated the guy. She married him. Fine, she divorced him. But it's like, oh, damage is done. You're a deadbeat. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't view you as anything else. I'm so looking at my smile. My teeth, let me just show you something here. Because my teeth are so perfect. Someone tried to make out that they were fake. No, I've never used drugs or alcohol or anything else. My teeth are real. No feelings. Yeah. No feelings or nothing. My teeth are perfect. Amazing. Because I've never done anything that's bad in my life. The worst thing I've ever done is had a good cup of coffee. I don't have addiction for coffee. The last few weeks, because I've been so fluey, I've actually been having a migraine and run down. So, although they say when you have migraine, coffee is good for it. But when I'm run down and a bit fluey and nasally, which I get, I tend to drink more tea just to keep up because I don't feel like drinking heaps of water. So I even have green tea. Like I'm actually drinking green tea at the moment just to keep having something warm and just lemon warm water just to keep the fluids up. Well, when I'm sick, I was like, oh, you'll find me drinking heaps of tea when I'm sick. And then I go back to drinking coffee. And I might have one cup of coffee here or there. But it's how I am. Like, that's just how I am. It's like when I've got flus or allergies, it's like, I'll drink peppermint tea. I'm drinking green tea at the moment. I'll drink normal black tea or a range of different teas just to keep, something warm, fluids up and so forth. But I do drink. I'm more a coffee drinker, and I've always been a good coffee drinker, even since school. Like I said a joke once because some idiot, and you would never seriously if you knew me, you'd be like, well, Justin's barely drunk alcohol in his life, so that's not his character. He'll have an aperitif. He'll have a glass of more red wine or rosé in summer. Sauvignon Blanc with white wine, or that's who I've been, but years could go by and I wouldn't have so summer I do drink white wines or rosés, winter I like red because I like steak, so it depends on what I'm eating. Eat seafood, I'm having white. But what I'm saying is years could pass and I wouldn't do that. It's just because it's like, oh, I just hadn't felt like it. I would just have water or lemon water or something. So yeah, that's just how I've always been. It's funny when you go to doctors and go, oh, do you drink? I'm like, well, I have drunk. I've never been, if I've ever been drunk, as in drunk, because I've drunk too much alcohol, then something's wrong because I can get drunk on 1.5 glasses. I used to be called a Cadbury, a glass and a half. So never, and that's been my character my whole life. I love vodka, absolutely love vodka. But I'll have my first drink, which would be a martini or something. Then for the rest of the night, if I'm out socialising, I would drink tonic water with lime and tell people I'm drinking vodka and tonic. So it looks social. So I would actually just drink tonic. It'd be just tonic water with lime. That's it. So if someone's actually put vodka in it, and then again and again and again, I'm going to get drunk and not taste it. Which is no fault of my own. Someone's obviously doing that. Now, my whole family would know this about me. It's like, well, Justin, if I go to a brewery, it's like, okay, he would have the most expensive thing on the list, but he would only have one. And I would sit there with my mother's side of the family, they'd be drinking something. I'm like, oh, God, how can you drink that? That's a paint stripper for a car. and I'm going to have my one drink, and I'll sit on this for an hour, and I'm going to enjoy this. And my one drink to your three is still going to be a lot cheaper, but it's going to be like for that one drink still more expensive than one of your drinks, but you're having three of those drinks. I'm having one, and it's enjoyable. It's got flavor. It's got body. Like there's undertones. There's aromas. Like even in beers, it's like, oh God, this beer has a honey undertone to it, and you can almost taste like this, maple sort of barrel sort of flavor. It's like if people look at you, it's like, what are you drinking? It's like I'm drinking something of a brewery quality that's nice and enjoyable and aroma, and it's got flavor, and you're drinking something very cheap that's like paint stripper. But I'm gonna have one and enjoy it, and that's how I've always been. And the same with I love my aperitifs, and I love my martinis, and I've got a very specific way that I like my martini. And funny enough, I met somebody back in 1999, Caroline Wright, at the Powerhouse Hotel in Tamworth, and very dry. Remember this? She used to, the way I love Caroline Wright. If she's still alive, oh God, she's to grab you like this. She's grab you like old school. She's like, right, it's supposed to be a very dry martini, and she goes, which means like she grabbed the glass, the vermouth, chucks like the vermouth in, frisks it around in the glass, throws it out, puts the ice in, grabs the vodka, shake it around. There, a very dry martini with a twist. So like very that type of atmosphere. So I've never been a drinker, never been a drug user. And what I've found is that certain types of characters of people, they have issues. And I've just been slandered by certain characters of people like, but that's your issue. You're putting your issue onto me because it makes you feel better. Like my hairdresser, it's like, you have issues. And this is not defamation because this is the truth. You've invited me to see your issues. You invited me. Baxi, stop distracting me. Oh, you want to go in the lounge? All right, out. See how sofa. Like you invited me into viewing. Oh God, you're heavy, dog. Your issues. So I've seen your issues. You also very freely showed me who you buy your drugs from and all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, wow. But I'm very much raised to, well, everyone's different, so bite your tongue, please. Type of thing. But and what they do is not hurting me, until I'm getting defamed or slandered or something like that. But seriously, I'm looking at this going, man, you just project, like you have issues. You're projecting your issues onto me. I wouldn't do that because I'm somebody that comes from a decent family that has control over substance, like the Flemings, and I'm not going to sit back while your low-life loser behavior that you're going to project that into me. I mean, I pay you for a service to make sure my hair looks great. I've got a good treatment. I'm looking fabulous. So I come to you to pay you to make me look good. I'm coming here to be slandered. And that's Belinda Jeffries from La Boutique Hair Salon in Double Bay. She's originally from Penrith and she behaves like she's from Penrith. But seriously, it's like it got to a point where I was like, no, I'm not coming here anymore. Because I'm paying you to make me look good, and I have long hair, and to find a good hairdresser, I mean, I found a good barber, actually, that can cut men's long hair really good. You got to find Europeans. That's the thing. And to find a good hairdresser that can cut men's long hair. Because the men's long stylish hair, like the European style, you don't want it to be cut like it's female. And that's the problem. So when I find a good hairdresser that you can get to cut long hair so it's a good male cut for long hair. So that's what you're doing. You're paying somebody for, to make you look good. And here she is like, okay, you have these issues and yep, I'm hearing it all the time and I'm accepting this, but because I briefly socialized with you that you're my hairdresser, but don't start dragging me into your issues. Because these issues that you have are your issues alone. These are not mine. Whether you want to build your empire and drag everybody into thinking that they're like, my mother does this. Because my mother was so invested with her second husband's family. So the Rackleys is her second husband's family. And I'm almost strongly believe that could be hereditary because my mother's second husband's family, her ex-husband, Mark Jeffrey Rackley, his son from his first marriage in South Australia, Daniel Rackley, he actually moved to Tamworth, and he also moved to Central Coast as well. And I think Mark Rackley went from I know he was from Marion to South Australia, back to Marion, to Tamworth, to Central Coast, and to Cessnock, I think he is now. That's my mum's second husband. And his whole family have the same issues. And they all do. It's like, okay, so, and then my mum was so invested with her second husband's family that she lost touch with reality of what people's lives are normally. And my twin sister and myself are from her first marriage. My twin sister and myself don't drink. Like you wouldn't see my twin sister Amanda drink. Like we might, okay, here's the thing. Here I'll show you how much we don't drink on the Fleming side. We go on holidays. I'm like, oh, we're on holidays. We're at an island. Let's get a cocktail. She's like, oh, but we've just got here. Like, it's like, we're having dinner. Let's get a cocktail. She goes, well, I don't think that's appropriate. What, we're going to have alcohol? Like, seriously, that's my twin sister. So that just shows you how little we drink in my family to do with alcohol. It's like, okay, man, I've just said about having one cocktail, but okay, fine, fair enough. We don't have to. We can just have water. Type thing. Like, seriously, she did. And I was like, oh, so because I went out for dinner and decided to order an aperitif. So I only had one drink, an aperitif. My sister's like, well, I don't think that's appropriate. And, we're having dinner and you have to have alcohol. I'm like, I'm having an aperitif. One, we're on holidays and we're at dinner. That tells you. So my twin and myself have never been drinkers. I mean, I'm a coffee drinker, so I've always been at cafes, right through my entire life, been cafe culture. Every Wednesday after school, I used to hang out at the Coffee Bean Cafe with friends of mine, like-minded people, and have coffee and chat about art and chat about theatre, chat about musicals and so forth. And that's actually what I did every single Wednesday. Every Wednesday afternoon, before I actually had theatre lessons and acting lessons, and so forth. But it was hanging out at, this is when I was going for high school, I was hanging out at the Coffee Bean with like-minded artists, sipping coffee. Yeah, I was a cafe latte drinker before it became fashionable to drink cafe latte, and I would order it always cafe latte, and if someone said, oh, sorry, you want latte? I'm like, no, I want coffee in my milk. Because latte just means milk in Italian. So I was one of those smart ass snobby little kids. And I've never changed. So I've always been, smart ass snobby little kid. Anyway. So yeah, that's so getting back to a long sort of circle there. Getting back to where all this started. Me being lied about cost me damages in the US and in Australia that I'm paying for, that I'm sitting back saying, no, you've cost me everything I worked hard for, my assets, my belongings and savings, because you want to project issues into my life that I don't have and have never had. And the biggest thing I did to play a prank on people, loved it. Hang on, there's so I got this, there's a juice that used to be at Coles in King's Cross. So back then when you go downstairs, and I don't know if it's there anymore, I didn't even look for it, but there's actually a grape juice and there's what was it? It's like the kiwi juice. It was a green juice anyway. And I used to put them in fancy little sort of cut glass bottles and then, walk around. I was being a smart ass on this dickhead that was my neighbour in 2017. So I'm walking around with this bottle with actually one of them had Ribena in it and put it in a red wine glass, and because his neighbour goes, he was a reformed alcoholic. Now, if you know me, I can't stand people that use drugs, and I can't stand people that have to be reformed from using drugs and alcohol, because I'm like, so you have had an issue, so you still have that issue. You might think that you deserve a second chance, and you're reformed, but you're still someone with an issue. So I'm very smart ass to people like that. I can't stand them. There's one person in my street, this deadbeat loser. I always thought of something off with him. Oh, Blake, and he tells me that him and his partner, what is it, 2 years sober. It's like, well, you remind me of a Stephanie Salas character. I was like looking at him going, oh God. And I have to walk past these people and give them a fake smile. So it's just like, because it's like, oh, how do I live on a street around these people? It's just stressful. Like low life scum people like that. It's like, there's an area for you guys. It's called Mount Druitt for people like you. I mean, there should be segregation. I really strongly believe in segregation. Anyone with drugs and alcohol problems should never be allowed in society. I've had that same view my entire life because, if we did that, then you wouldn't have people like my mother mixing with people like my mother's second husband's family. So, yeah, I'm massive on segregation. But yeah. And again, here it is. Like, I'm sitting back getting lied about. Because, wait, I had privacy invasion issues, so I thought, okay, I'll play a joke on some people, which I did from 2016 to 2018. It was so funny. I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. They probably don't now, but it's like, oh, look, it was a joke. It was a prank. You're the one that had information about me that wasn't true. All I did was mock that information, take the information that you were spreading about me and acted towards it. And there you go. Here we are. You're an idiot. So you're an idiot and who now owes me 9 years of damages. So, and the best thing is during that time, like I said, you can't beat documents. I mean, yeah. But this went on for years, 9 years. And the same people that cause the trouble, the same ones that stand back and go, oh no, he's just doing this for money. It's like, no, I had money. No, I'm doing this because legally you have to be held accountable for your damages. So legally, there's got to be a way that you're made accountable for the damage you've caused to my life. You took it upon yourself to lie about me. That was your choice. So in the legal system, whether you're sued your ass off, so you would never do it again, whether you're in jail for it, so you would never do it again, you need accountability. So a lot of these people need to be held accountable and they have to be taught accountability. So the lesson that has to be taught for these scumbag people is accountability. It's like, well, you do have an issue. You then projected that issue and you destroy someone's life. Mine. I mean, not really. I'll get it back, but they have to be held accountable. The law says they have to be held accountable, and there are types of people that need to be held accountable. So you've got to bring them to justice. So it's so the organisations have to be sued, so that way they're held accountable. It's the only way. Accountability has to be. And the people have to go to jail or be charged criminally. It's about accountability. They need to stand up and accept their wrongdoing and their own actions. And they've got to be held accountable for their actions. And these people are not held accountable for their actions.